book can take you anywhere. Turn the pages and you'll be there. Come on, join us, you'll see. We're reading with Carylee.
Hi, friends, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Read with Carylee. I am your host, as always, Carylee, and today we have Miss Natalia Paruzel-Gibson, and she will be reading for us today, Something Lost, Something Found. Now, you know, we have been having authors from all over the United States and even some from around the world. So Miss Natalia, could you let us know where you are reading to us from today?
Absolutely. So I'm delighted to join you today from Canada, and I'm located in Halton Hills, Ontario.
Awesome. We have another friend from up north, and I know that you are about to get into this book, and it's a very, very sweet book. So I'm gonna cozy up in my little book nook here as you take it away, Natalia. Let's get into the story.
Thank you so much. So today I'm very glad to share with you my debut picture book, and the title of it is Something Lost, Something Found. And I worked with a wonderful illustrator on it, and her name is Laura Catrinella, and she's also from Canada. She's from Vancouver. So let me tell you the story of Something Lost, Something Found. Ella nuzzled under her blanket. Jasper purred softly at her feet. The stars twinkled. Mr. Moon leaned into her bedroom window to say goodnight. But none of it made Ella feel happy. She could not sleep. Lying in her comfy bed, she felt like a balloon without air, or like noodles gone cold on a plate. Ella felt like she was stuck in a pile of gloomy mud. She missed her mom so much. At school, Margot skipped down the hall humming to herself. Her smile looked like a warm embrace and invited all her friends to laugh. Margot carried a box of tissues. She wiped her nose so often that it was red like Rudolph's. Maybe I can catch happipiness like a cold, thought Ella. Please sneeze on me, whispered Ella. Margot's achoo blew at Ella like a wet and chilly gust of wind. Bless you, replied Ella. She threw her arms up in the air and skipped down the hall. Ella did walk away from the sneeze with something, but a few days later, it turned out to be just a cold. The sniffles did not put a smile on Ella's face. Ella stared at the ceiling from her living room floor. She heard her grandma talking on the phone in the kitchen. Well, you know how it is, Grandma said. Money can't buy happiness. Some of the happiest people I know have very little money. That must be it, thought Ella. If I give up all my money, maybe happiness will find me. Like a rocket ship, Ella flew upstairs to her room. In a single burst of energy, she tossed her piggy bank out her window. Smash! Money, money, it's everywhere. There's so much of it, squealed a chorus of voices belonging to the kids who lived on the street. It will be easy for happiness to find me at home, Ella whispered to herself. She waited a few days, but happiness did not knock on her door. Winter turned to spring, she waited. The only knock came from the letter carrier. By summer, Ella thought, maybe happiness got packaged off and dropped off at my house. Maybe I just haven't noticed it yet. She checked the mailbox, nothing. She checked underneath her doormat, nothing. By fall, she exclaimed, happiness must have lost my home address. Ella read a book about witches. She learned that witches made magic potions from different ingredients to make extraordinary things happen. So for Halloween, Ella wore a black dress. She rode her broomstick from house to house. She cackled loudly before saying, trick or treat, at every doorstep. Back at home, Ella got the largest pot she could find. She took it in her room and threw in all her Halloween candy. Grandma always said that chicken noodle soup made you feel better, so Ella poured in a cup of it and then squirted in some bubble bath. Lastly, Ella found a tuft of Jasper's fur, which she had added in for good luck. Ella stirred her potion slowly. She watched the noodles dance with the chocolate and lollipops. As she stirred, she sang, "I am Ella Samantha Bean. Happiness, happiness, where have you been? I am Ella Samantha Bean. Happiness, happiness, make yourself seen." Ella repeated these words over and over. Soon her eyelids felt as heavy as her school bag. Just to make sure the magic potion would really work, she climbed into the pot. Only her head and shoulders poked out. In the morning, Ella woke up to a screechy voice. It was her older brother, Nathan. "Dad, Ella is sleeping in our good spaghetti pot," yelled Nathan. "It smells like bubbles and chicken soup in her room, and there are sticky candy wrappers all over the floor." Ella could hear her dad's footsteps getting closer to the door. "Nothing about me feels extraordinary," she thought, "except that I'm gooey and can't see past the noodles dangling in front of my eyes." Her dad opened the door to her room and smiled. "Another experiment of yours, my little bean?" Before she even opened her mouth to explain, she felt his arms around her. He squeezed her tight. "Ella, you remind me so much of your mom. You're my sparkling little star," said her dad. "Now let's clean up this interesting soup you've made." Her dad's loving words gave Ella an idea. "I can wish upon a star for happiness." That evening, she pulled out her dad's painting ladder and her butterfly catcher and dragged them outside. Then she waited until the sky was dark with many sparkling stars. Ella wedged the butterfly catcher between her teeth. Then she carefully climbed the ladder to get to the highest step, whispering, "I just need to catch one tiny star bright enough to make a wish upon it." Ella waved the butterfly catcher net back and forth at least 5 times. Suddenly, the net became a little heavier. Ella climbed down and ran inside upstairs to her room. Breathing heavily from all that star catching, she sat on her bed and reached into the net. Her catch felt a little prickly and rough. She opened her fingers to discover a large pine cone. Ella sighed with disappointment. She was pretty sure the pine cone wouldn't grant her wish for happiness. However, it smelled so beautiful that she put it on her bedside table. It was very late, so Ella quickly fell asleep. Ella had a much-loved friend. She visited her friend in the thickness of the sun's blaze and in the numbing, unkind breath of winter. Her friend always met her in the same place, as if waiting for no one but Ella. The next morning, after one of her dad's fluffy pancakes, Ella went to see her dear friend. Ella ran towards her friend and squeezed it tightly in a long embrace. She closed her eyes and felt the branches, the leaves, and the apples. This apple tree was extraordinary. It sat away from other trees on a small hill. It had more fruit on it than any other apple tree Ella had ever seen. Ella leaned against the trunk of the apple tree. She thought about the many times her mom had brought her there to gather apples for the pies they used to bake. The air smelt like a jam sandwich. The leaves of the tree danced to the rhythm of the wind's song. In the tree's whirling dance, Ella heard her mom's laughter. The tree extended one of its arms towards Ella, offering her an apple. With one crunchy bite, Ella tingled with a new energy. She felt warm and cozy, just like on nights when her mom used to tuck her in. Ella's lips curled upwards. She was light and free. Ella took a deep breath. Inside her heart, she felt the door open, and through the door walked happiness. The end.
With Carylee.
I am so glad that Ella was able to find her happiness. And, it's such a touching and emotional book, and really helps children to be able to find that happiness even when some things seem to be going wrong. So thank you for sharing that book with us. So why did you choose to write this book?
Well, as you know, the saying goes, write what you know. And the first draft of the story was born in 2015, and it was born during a time when my mom was first diagnosed with cancer. And I wrote it during a time when I had been experiencing anticipatory grief, knowing that the prognosis was poor, and at the same time going through an array of emotions, knowing that I had two little children that were also going through an array of emotions. And my mother was very close to myself and played a massive role in my life. I was the most important person in my life for many, many years. And that she was also a very important part of my children's lives. And I wanted to make sure that they knew that through the grief journey, it wasn't a linear journey. It was a journey filled with many ups and downs. And through that journey, it was important to think about her and all the memories and the good and the warmth and the laughter and everything that was associated with her that she brought into our lives, that we could preserve it through memories. And I think there's something very important about letting children not move necessarily past grief and forcing them to experience the passing of a loved one in a way that is finite, and again, has a linear journey associated with it, but rather allowing children to feel that array of emotions and go on that grief journey for however long it may last, knowing that there is positive, wonderful memories that will help that person live on inside of them forever.
Well, speaking of the memories, do you think that there's one memory for your children that they have of your mother that you could share with us?
Absolutely. I mean, it's hard for me to choose just one, but I think all the memories of us traveling together. I was born and raised in Poland in Europe, and I came here with my mom at the age of 8 to Canada, and we frequently went to visit our family back in Poland with my children. And I think every single time that we went back to Poland with my children, and my mom, there was this amazing sense of wholeness in my heart and in my mom's heart and in the hearts of my children. So I think all our visits to Poland together will always be something that I treasure.
And that's amazing that that they're able to have those memories with you and their grandmother. So speaking of memories, what are some books, or is there a book that you have that has inspired you throughout your life, or even inspired you to write this book?
So I would say the author that has had a profound impact on my childhood and my life is a Swedish author by the name of Astrid Lindgren. And her books were translated to, I believe, over 150 languages.
Wow.
And I actually had her books read to me as a child in Polish. And now I'm reading these books that have been translated into English with my children that she had written. So all the books ranging from Pippi Longstocking to The Brothers Lionheart to
yes.
The Noisy Village. And I really admire Astrid Lindgren for the fact that she had created these phenomenal, strong characters in her books that represent a respect for children's individuality, and also a respect for being bold and daring and and eccentric in a wonderful way that children can be.
Yes, and I grew up, in Pippi Longstocking. I don't think I was aware of the author. Sometimes we read so many books and we don't really think of the authors, which is why I really love doing this show, so we can see the authors and hear. And I know, like I said, Pippi Longstocking is what is a book and a show that I grew up with. So we thank you so much for sharing that, and knowing that, we have authors from all around the world who influence us, and we may not really know where they're from. And I'm so glad that we're able to have you here with, something lost, something found. And it's truly a great book that children, if they're going through grief, or even if they're, not going through grief, but, they just lost their happiness, to really be able to read and get that joy back. So thank you again so much for joining us today and for reading your book for us. And we hope that you will possibly, write another one, and we'll be able to join us again.
First of all, I wanted to say thank you so much for having me on your show. I think it's absolutely wonderful and inspiring that you're raising other authors up. So thank you for being wonderful, you. And I hope to see you down the line and connect with you, as I am working on new books right now.
Yes.
That hopefully will be published in the next year or two. And thank you so much for your time.
Yes, thank you so much, and you're welcome. We all are a small but large community, and it's so good to be able to see other authors and share them with our audience. Thank you again, Natalia, and thank you at home for joining us for another Read with Carylee. Remember to check us out on our YouTube, and remember to grab a book and read. We'll see you next Saturday with another amazing author. Have a great day.
Take care. Bye.
Thanks for watching another amazing episode of the Read with Carylee Show. We have amazing authors coming by every week. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe below. You don't want to miss a thing.